Hi everyone, Dr. Eric Kaufman here, and in this first tutorial, we're going to look at how to choose a company name. So in this tutorial, we're going to cover what makes a good name, what to avoid, what works, how we should use Google when considering our company name, a few legal issues surrounding choosing a company name, and a few sources of inspiration. So first of all, what makes a good name? The most obvious one is a simple name, something that's descriptive or tells your customer what your company does or where it's from or what services you provide. Importantly, something that's easy to remember, something that's easy to spell and look up online so companies can find you, something that sounds professional. Nothing turns off a company looking to do business with you more than an unprofessional name or an amateur sounding name. Something that conveys financial success and confidence as if the company has been there for a long time, and something that just conveys trust and reliability. So what should we avoid when we're choosing a name? Well, first of all, we want to avoid a name that sounds too foreign for our target market and for what our company does. So for example, Bradford and Pierce might be a good name for a financial firm in London, whereas Qiaoming Industries would be a poor fit for that company in London. Whereas in China, Qiaoming Industries for a manufacturing company is a much more suitable name than Bradford and Pierce. Next, we want to avoid complicated names that are difficult to remember or difficult to look up or difficult to spell. We want to avoid a name with too many words. Avoid anything that doesn't make sense or is unclear, and especially that doesn't make sense to others, not just yourself. Try to avoid cliches, although that's not as big of a deal. And choose a name that's people-friendly and doesn't put people off or rub them the wrong way, nothing crass or vulgar. And if it doesn't sound right to you and it doesn't roll off the tongue, you can probably just avoid it. So what does work? Well, one example is common family names, such as Murphy Commodities. Inspiration from nature. Some companies name themselves after a particular tree or a particular animal. It could be something that's descriptive, such as John Doe Distributors or trading or exports or imports or whatever it is that your company does. So always Google your company name. And this provides a few things. One, it helps you check if your company name is already taken or if a domain is registered already in that name, meaning if somebody already owns www.yourcompanyname.com, it's best to avoid it because we want to have a website with our own company name. You want to check that the name has no scam reports and no complaints against it, or any bad news against any company name similar to the one you're choosing to avoid confusion. A friend of mine actually lost a very lucrative grain deal because his name was very similar to the company name of a company that had previously scammed his buyer. So it's always important to Google any name that you choose, and if the results don't look good, you want to avoid that name. Next is legal issues. So depending on your state and country laws, there are going to be issues surrounding what you can name your company. So for example, in Canada, your company name requires uniqueness. So for example, instead of using Global Distributors, you're expected to use something like Michael's Global Distributors, where Michael is the unique name in your company name, just to avoid duplication and other companies using a similar name. Some words are not allowed by law. For example, in Canada, we cannot use the term royal or parliament in our company names. And finally, you should add your business type to your name depending on which state or which country you're incorporated in. So you might be required to have Inc., Corp, Limited, etc. for corporations, whereas you might not need them for other business types such as sole proprietorships. So look into your local laws. Most countries and states make it very easy to register a company name online and register a business online, and all of the laws and rules and regulations regarding that are all available. Finally, some sources of inspiration. Well, you can take a look at companies that you respect. You can use online company name generators, although of course use those with discretion. Some of them can be silly, some of them can just be stupid, while some of them can be very useful. Ask friends and family and get their feedback on any names or any ideas that you have for a name. And finally, my advice is just choose a name. There's no need to obsess over the perfect name. A lot of companies with silly names have become very successful, and a lot of companies with great names have gone nowhere. And it's not really all about the name. Just try to choose one that you're comfortable with and that you think others are comfortable with, and just move on to starting your own business. Thank you.